Michael, let's go.
Yeah, we coolin', yeah, we coolin'. We dancing right to the music. If you got it, girl, you move it, ayy. Yeah, we coolin', yeah, we coolin'. We dabbing and yeah, we groovin'. Pretty bitties dropping, do it, ayy. Yeah, we coolin', yeah, we coolin'. We dancing right to the music. If you got it, girl, you move it, ayy.
All right, a few Leesville alumni sitting back down for the first time in a long time. Geez, it's been a while. From the blue Subaru going up and down Leesville Road all the way down to living in Florida. Just got his new Audi coming down on the way. 2 years at Clemson, 4 years All-State in North Carolina. Second or third in the state championship your senior year?
Dude, that's a good question. Somewhere around there.
I think it was second, but
yeah, I think so.
But I think one of the kids that beat you ended up beating out in a college tournament.
Yeah.
And you got him back. So I don't know how I
feels like decades ago. It's crazy.
Dude, you're telling me, or one of us is getting better with age. But now PGA Tour Amateur Championship winner here, and now he's on the PGA Tour. A name that was born to be a golfer, Doc REDMAN.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on.
Dude, no, thanks for your time. So your parents knew you were going to be a golfer, Doc REDMAN. That's golf. Dude,
my dad played, back when I was young, loved it. He was pretty good, and they would take me out to the range at Prestonwood. Actually, we were members down at Prestonwood and Cary. And, when I was 3, we'd go down there, and I mean, obviously I don't remember, but they have some videos that I've seen. They said I just loved it. There was no pressure from them at all. I just wanted to go out and whack balls and have a good time.
That's awesome. And then I guess as time went on, you ended up playing out of Wildwood, right?
Yeah. So I met some guys from Leesville actually out there, and one of the golf professionals. So I met some people from Leesville, like Will Franz and Zach Siebel, Carter Jenkins, Jake Hutchinson. Those guys were my boys. And so, dude, that was honestly the perfect situation for me, because we'd just go out there and shoot the shit all day, it seemed on weekends and in the summer, and just play golf and hang out. And it made it really fun and kind of easy to get better and practice.
Oh, absolutely. It takes, like you said in the beginning, it takes the stress away. You're just out there because you like to do it, and then you get better just from repetition, which. Right,
exactly. And those guys were, so good back in the day and still are. And so that drove me to get better, and we'd have great matches. And it's just like anything, if you play with better players, you learn stuff, and most of the times you end up getting better.
Oh, absolutely. So just to, I guess, wrap up your more childhood golf scene, how did training go, especially in high school? I know you had to dip out early every now and then to go play. Growing up middle school, how is that? Because you said there wasn't much pressure from your parents, so it wasn't like Blades of Glory where you were bred and picked out of somewhere. But take me through how that was.
It was I started taking it more seriously, if I remember correctly, later middle school, and then definitely into high school. I was always playing lots of tournaments, but that's when I started really practicing. And dude, I guess it was just kind of one of those things. I love being out there. Like I said, I had those friends, and I wanted to get better. So it was tough. I guess it was easier when I was at Cary Academy in Cary, and that was just a nightmare. But then when I came up to Leesville, met even Corey Wilson, him, and we played golf and hung out all the time. And yeah, dude, I just dip out of school. I think my senior year, I only had 3 classes because I had to play golf. And, I'd go and practice and just play and shoot the shit at the golf course.
I mean, that's what anybody does now.
Yeah, right. I mean, and I feel now it's funny as I get older, and even people I know, get into college, out of college, that's everyone's dream, is to be able to go and just hang out at the golf course with their buddies for 4 or 5 hours.
That's where I was about to go with it. I didn't start playing golf till quarantine just because I never really had time to. And dude, I already knew golf was hard and gave you credit for being good at it. But dude, talking about the mental side, if I go home with all my clubs, it's a good day.
Dude, and that was honestly the best thing for this quarantine and COVID, so good for golf, because that was for a while the only thing you could do, I mean, I'm sure there was no hockey rinks open, you just go play golf and you can socially distance and it's pretty safe. And like, I think a lot of people took it up. And if you look at like the numbers, I think golf rounds are way up this year.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
for the general public.
So I guess going into more of the college scene, talking about how everyone usually gets into golf. What made you decide on Clemson of all places? I know it's close to here, but
yeah, I mean, I was kind of looking like, I thought like NC State, UNC, Duke, like those were a little too close to home for me. Like just wanted to get out of the state a little bit. And dude, Clemson has like a great history of golf. There's a bunch of guys on tour now who've been on tour for a while, who have a lot of success. And the head coach has been there. His name's Larry Penley. He's been there for like 30 or 35 years. Crazy. Assistant coach Jordan Bird, who's my swing coach, has been there forever too, like 10 years probably. So it just has like a rich history. I don't know if you've been to Clemson. I think the campus is beautiful. I mean, I'm like the biggest Clemson fan ever.
Yeah, believe it or not, this year I got some buddies down there, and we go to. Yeah. I've been down there like 4 or 5 times, like this semester.
You've been down hanging with Gabe?
Yeah, every now and then.
Yeah,
dude, he's working at study hall. And
I know. Dude, that place is.
He acts like he runs it, but he kind of does. So it's fun. It's kind of fun to go down there seeing all that.
Dude, study hall, I love that place. That's one of my favorite bars I've ever been to, I feel like.
I'm other than Honky Tonk Central, I think it's 2.
Really? Wow.
Dude, okay. It's cool. It's because it's like a college bar, and it's like you leave there, check your statement, and you're just like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah, right. No,
it could be worse.
Nothing. So I just and I loved the campus, and I met so many good people, there. Absolutely. Just like any college, honestly. But I loved it there, and it worked out well.
Awesome. And then got it all in 2 years, which is even better.
Yeah, I think I was ready to be done with the school part after 2 years. That was enough for me. And then got the college experience for 1 more year, which was with no school, which was even better.
Oh, dude, yeah, sign me up. But
yeah.
So what? Obviously, at schools, like most of the athletes are usually friends. Who did you find yourself hanging out with other than the golf guys?
Yeah, so I got to be really good friends with the baseball guys.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So, I think like, especially I know a lot of the football guys too. I mean, I'm friends with Hunter Renfro and, some of the other guys that are on the team now. But the baseball guys, like in the fall, they got nothing going on. The football guys, like, they always have something going on. It's nuts. Yeah. Like after they won the national championship 1 year, I think they had 10 days off and they were right back to practice. That's like just crazy. But just somehow became friends with all the baseball guys. And I honestly ran with them like my whole sophomore year, to the point where people thought I was on the baseball team just because I was always around them. And so it was a blast. I mean, they, like, to another level, kind of have their own fan crew in the Clemson area and kind of run downtown to their own, merit. Like, just crazy when you're a big athlete like that, you get, there's a lot of things that come with it, which is pretty cool. And I got to experience a little bit of that.
Absolutely. So when did you, going back to the time frame, 2 years of Clemson, won the PGA Amateur Championship after your freshman year. Is that when you kind of knew it's like, all right, this is happening?
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. I had a good freshman year, especially fall. I won twice in the fall, which is like really good. I think I finished like second or third in freshman of the year, like race, whatever.
Yeah.
And like up until that point, I was just like, I'm gonna play 4 years here, like get my degree. Hopefully I'm playing well after that and can turn pro and have some success. And then like when I won that, and then all of a sudden, like, there's agents come calling, like, trying to sign you. And then like that fall, I was like, holy shit, like, man, I'm not going to be here for too much longer. Or I at least have a decision of like, do I want to turn pro? Do I not? And then it was kind of like obvious that was probably the best decision for me. So it was kind of, it was different, like in the spring, taking classes and stuff, when it's like, dude, I'm out of here. And
that was my next question. I was teeing that one up. Like,
dude, it was, I didn't try nearly as hard, like, but like, you can't blame me, but I was still
not at all.
Laser focused on golf. Like that was what my career was going to be. Not these, like, I was taking some math classes that were hard as fuck, and I was just done with it.
No. Yeah. You're thinking about your swing when you're doing like home.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously, you just finished your second year on tour, first, second.
This was like technically my first full year.
Okay,
Like,
so I'm not that far off. All right.
yeah, no, but I played a bunch of events before I was officially like a member.
What's your favorite course you've been able to play on so far in like a actually competitive sphere, not like leisure?
Right, dude. That's a tough question. I think we played a really cool course in San Francisco for the PGA Championship, TPC Harding Park. That's a really cool one. I mean, I played the Masters as an amateur a few years ago. Like, it's hard to go wrong with Augusta National.
Yeah.
And, like, it's beautiful. Dude, it's tough to say, like, one favorite because it's all –
I'll twist the question.
Okay.
What course have you played on competitively do you think, like, caters best to your game?
Man, that's a good question too. I think
I'll
playing in, in my home state in Greensboro at Sedgefield, played really well, came in third. I tied for third earlier this year. Like, I think it really suits my game well. You got to hit it straight. You got to putt well. The greens are perfect. Like, you can make a lot of birdies. And, I played really well for a long time there this year.
Awesome. All right. Cool enough. So who's your favorite pairing that you've had? Like, so far in like the year and a half you've been on the tour?
I love playing with one of my boys, Sam Ryder, who lives around here, and this is kind of why I moved down here. I lived with him for a few months. It's always fun playing with him. I love playing with one of my boys, Harry Higgs, who you might know. Big dude, all of his shirt buttons are unbuttoned, like check there. You gotta love him. He's great. I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot more good pairings than bad pairings or really good guys than guys you don't want to play with. So I feel pretty fortunate about that.
So when you're with your buddies, there's a little bit of shit talk and stuff going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It loosens up a little bit.
Definitely. It's always more fun and just a lighter atmosphere, less serious almost.
Yeah. Because you don't have to – yeah. I feel like if you got paired up with obviously you're on the tour too, but if you got pulled or paired up with some – huge name like DJ or Tiger, you just be like, yes sir, like,
yeah, right,
good shot, sir.
and it's crazy. I mean, see those guys around a lot and say hey, and I think to a lot of an extent everyone knows me, but it's still, you get around like someone big like that and it is kind of like, oh shit, even though
dude,
obviously
you grew up watching them, it's gotta be
right
crazy.
It's great, and it's crazy to now like be there and like you said, be competing against them and trying to beat them at the end of the day,
Yeah. Watching the Masters is hilarious because they definitely had a camera guy that followed Paulina around the entire time. Dude, have you ever seen her walking around?
Dude, I don't think I have.
You definitely would have remembered, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Ricky's girlfriends around sometimes and, obviously she's really pretty, but I don't think I've ever seen Paulina now.
That's okay. That's a back of my head hockey question I had to ask. All right. So I kind of triggered up the more like cliche, like, what's your favorite course? What's your favorite?
Yeah, right.
One more of those. If you had to play 18 with one club.
Dude, that's tough. Probably like a 7 or a 6 iron, some kind of mid range. So you got some distance, but then also like, you could chip and putt with that pretty easily. If you got into a bunker, you would be totally screwed.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough.
Something like that.
If I hit a ball with a 7 iron, that I just throw it in the water. Like it's, dude, it's so.
Dude, it never gets easier either. I'll tell you that.
What do you mean? So like, what do you do to like kind of? So say if you're having like a bad day, you're just not hitting, because you obviously practice your ass off. You've been doing this for years. What are some things that kind of like help you reset? Like things that you like go back to when you're kind of awry? I
feel like it's just for anything with any sport, you go back to like the fundamentals that you think like, or you got to find the fundamentals in your swing or whatever that you think like are the key points that why you play well or hit it well. Right. So I got like a few of those where, just like certain points I want to be at my backswing or kind of on the way through that I can get on video and then easily tell like, shit, I'm off. I got to go do a little work. And it's crazy because especially in the golf swing, like, you might be off by, that much on camera and like, you're just hitting it like shit. All you have to do is move it that much, which is easier said than done.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh,
club
my God.
position or whatever. And I think it's crazy too. Like, honestly, even for me, even for, tour pros, like it's a lot of times it's just like setup and fundamentals, like ball position, kind of your alignment, like your shoulders are open or something like that. It's a lot of the times it's not as like, you don't have to dig real deep to figure out what the problem is.
Yeah. I know it's a mental game, probably one of the most mental games there
Yeah.
is. So I can imagine like you're like as much as you practice like on the field, like on the course, not the field, on the course,
Right.
like, technique, fundamentals, obviously those are going to be something that are your pillars.
Right.
But I feel like there's also some times where it's like, even if you think you fix it and you're still like going maybe the other way, it's like, all right.
Right.
Like,
But at the same time, like you can go and have like a really bad mental round, like,
Yeah.
dude, I was just in my own head, like not really thinking straight, getting ahead of myself, getting really pissed. And like, you could be swinging great, but if you're not, right in the head, you're not going to play well either.
yeah, that's what, dude, I can't even imagine how
Yeah.
All right. So, going back to your buddy Harry, the guy who always has the buttons undone. So I remember seeing one of the pictures of you. I think it was when you were in Michigan. I can't remember where, but you had a greasy stash, like the flat bill hat. I was like, dude, this is like, that's gritty. Like, what did he help inspire that, or is that
I was just kind of pulling out the stash for a little while. It kind of comes and goes, to be honest with you. Yours is nasty. I don't feel like I can get mine looking that good, but
I adjusted the lighting before this.
okay.
It doesn't look like pencil shavings. I had to get some nice light on it.
Yeah, dude, I was just rolling with it, like just trying to do something fun, especially like when we came back from quarantine, there's no one out there. So it's not like I'm really, I go to my hotel and then go to the golf course. Like, I'm not trying to impress anyone. So, so I was just like, I'm going to have fun with it. Like, been growing my hair out a little bit, like just feel like, that's the time to have, now's the time to have fun with whatever you want to do.
Literally. So, going back to the agent side of things, how does that work for golf, picking up an agent and stuff? Because I know you're not really dealing with teams. I guess it's just sponsors.
Right. Yeah. It's mostly just like their job would be to kind of, find sponsors. Like, I mean, obviously if you go look at pictures, like, depending on what clothing you wear, it kind of depends on how many spots you have for sponsors. So like, sleeves, chest, collar, things like that. I mean, that and sponsorship you can, put anywhere really, hat's a big one, like front of the hat, side of the hat people do. So that would be their job, is kind of finding sponsors, and, then there's the money and they just take a percentage of that. And it's nice. They don't really take anything from on the course, just kind of stuff they bring to you.
That's cool. And then, so look, I think you got some of the best sponsors in the game. You got Polo. Like that's just easy. That's just, did you go out and get that one? Like, was that brought to you or?
Yeah, that was kind of like something we worked on. I wore it for the practice rounds at the Masters. Kind of we worked on for a while, just kind of getting in with Polo because, as far as PGA Tour players go, they got like, JT is obviously a big guy, Billy Ho, another big guy, and then like me and Nick Watney. Like, it's a small group, so it's one of those things like when you're in, like you're pretty much in for life,
That's so sick.
And you just got to get in. And so like my agent back then, was just working hard on that kind of angle and kind of pitching me as a good ambassador for Polo. And yeah, dude, it's worked out well. Like, gotten to do some really cool experiences with them. Like, went up to see the US Open tennis, like actually hung out with Pasternak and Charlie McAvoy.
Off. Are you serious? Dude. Oh my God.
Me and Charlie keep up, like, we talk every week basically, man. Like,
dude, fuck off. That's sick.
And
that's awesome.
So that was awesome. Like, some Olympians were there too that we met who were really cool. Just cool stuff like that. I always love going up, like, just to their store in New York and kind of shooting the shit with whoever.
And then how's Pasta? I know he's like a foreign dude.
He was awesome. So we walked in, like, I brought my boy Grant, and we were just supposed to get on, like we had a bus from downtown, the hotel we were staying at, to wherever, I don't know what stadium it's called, whatever, it's 45 minutes away. And we go right in, and Pasta's got like just this huge bag of beers and just passing them out. Like, we're getting hammered before we even get there. And dude, he was awesome. We had a blast. And
Those guys are nuts.
Charlie's great too. And it's crazy to think like how, I tell people all the time who don't really know hockey, like, dude, it doesn't get much better than those guys, like in the NHL world. I mean, obviously Pasta went to another level this year.
Yeah. Oh my God. And McAvoy is going to be top 3D guys in the next few
years. Yeah,
years,
exactly. Yeah. Obviously I love the Canes and everything, but I also love, watching them play. And
it's just different up there.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. And I heard they were talking about playing outside maybe up in Boston for some – like how crazy would that be?
That would be unbelievable. But then there's like other teams in the mix for that. They're like LA. I'm like, how are you guys going to do that? Like,
right. You need
Boston
like you need an actual like winter setting where it's freezing and to really make it cool, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Are there any other like cool people you've met along the way? Obviously, like outside of the golf world, because I don't think it gets much better than those two. But I'm really biased.
I think, dude, not that comes right off my head. I met one time when I was down playing a practice round at Augusta. I met Steph Curry. He was playing. It was like him, his dad, Dell, and then a member and like a big, one of the part owners of the Warriors. So we kind of timed it perfectly. I was like, we teed off. We were on one green and they were teeing off 9.
Yeah.
Which are right next to each other. So we kind of went over and like said, hey, didn't get a picture or anything because it was like, one, you're not even supposed to take pictures when you're there. But two, it's like, Steph didn't come all the way out here to play and like,
he wants to relax. Yeah.
So I mean, that was a real brief, hey, nice to meet you,
Oh, absolutely.
See ya. But that was pretty cool too.
Dude. All right. So changing directions a little bit. So obviously golf's been your thing since you were a kid. Talked about that. Has there ever been a point in your life where you're like, maybe this isn't it? Or like, or you kind of had a point where you're burnt out?
I feel like that whenever I'm having a bad round on tour, I say, maybe this isn't it. Like, or I have 2 tournaments in a row and I'm like, man, maybe I should just take 2 weeks off and quit altogether and go back to school. But, dude, I feel like that's just with anything. Like, whenever it gets tough, like that's the whole mental side of it, right? It's like, especially with me, I always feel like maybe it's not better, but I got to get real negative first before I get positive. And then like, I'll look back on it and I'm like, dude, that was like so dumb, and it sounds weird, but I know a lot of people who do this. Like I'll just go back and look at like, highlights of mine from previous tournaments when I've played well. And like, it's cocky, but I'm like, fuck man, I'm like really good when I'm playing well. Like, there's no reason to just get so negative. I just got to kind of like weather the storm,
Yeah. Oh, that's a good trait anyway. I wouldn't call it cocky. It's almost like a positive, like self-reflection.
Right. But dude, honestly, I feel like in whatever you're doing, just go back and look at like, I don't know if you're trying to write an article or something, just like go back at something that you thought was really great and read it and be like, hell yeah, man, I'm good at this. Like, it's just gotta come. And I think that's true with anything. And people maybe like underutilize that because maybe they think it's like cocky, but it's just like the truth. You gotta kind of draw inspiration from something.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just you and yourself. Like you can let whatever everybody else thinks brush off of you. And you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly.
Through.
Yeah, totally.
It feels like obviously like you got a pretty good head on your shoulders. You made it all the way to the PGA Tour. So like, what are some things that you would say personally different? Like not like we're not talking like nothing here is cocky. Go ahead.
Right.
There. What are some things that you feel like you do that differentiate yourself from others?
Yeah, I think I do. Like I can stay pretty calm on the golf course, which it's such a mental game. Like that really helps and stay focused really and not get ahead of myself, too excited, too down. I mean, obviously I've had bad moments, especially in the down part, but and then just kind of like I've always felt like I want to do everything I can in especially now, like my whole world, my whole life basically is golf, which I love, but like if I'm doing something, like I'm trying to do it in order for like I'll start in a month and a half. Like every day I'm kind of gearing towards how can I get better to be ready in a month and a half. And like I just don't ever want to look back and be like, man, I wish I had done more back in the day to like help me be the best I could. I didn't do enough. That's what scares me. So like, I'm just going to work as hard as I can, put in the hours and kind of, just like I said, do whatever I can to help myself be the best I can, whether that be like, I've always said, man, if I play like only another year on tour, but I was like, man, I did my best, then so be it. Or if I,
Absolutely.
play for 20 more years, I just want to do the best I can. And then I'll be content like with whatever happens, because I can't really control that.
Yeah, that's something that like helps me out as well. It's like something my old coach used to tell me is control what you can control. And
yeah, right.
That's effort, like being accountable, and just like he called it just showing up, where it's like
Right.
if you get your foot there, you're already doing better than you did if you didn't go. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's cool to hear, because obviously it's two very different spheres, but obviously common denominator.
Right. And I always remember Dabo would say it, like he'd say, just be great where your feet are. I think that's what he tells the Clemson football players. And like, that's great too. I think just, hey man, you got to do the best you can. Like that's kind of helping you stay in the moment too, which I think a lot of people, which everyone struggles with, right? It's just like, all you can do is be the best you can, like in the moment. And then when, an hour comes and the situation changes, you try and be the best you can then.
Yeah. I would have kicked myself if I forgot to ask about Dabo, because I saw I probably put a picture up a few years ago of you guys. How is it like? Well, one, I kind of figure how you guys got to know each other, but like, dude, how is he? Like, he just seems like
Yeah, he called me first when I was playing in the final of the USAM. He called me the night before, and like crazy, I was like,
yeah,
I was in LA. What?
No pressure.
Yeah, right. I was in LA, like driving home to where we were staying. We were staying at my cousin's house, and like this Clemson number pops up, and I'm like, usually I don't answer stuff like that, but I answered, and he's, hey, it's Coach Sweeney or something. And I'm like, no way, and dude, he's like the exact same in person as he is, when you see him in press conferences or on the field or, at halftime. Like, I always feel like compared to he's one of the most positive people I've ever met. I feel like he, really takes responsibility for what happens. And he was just trying to kind of like, offer his support and be like, dude, just one shot at a time, just like we do for Clemson football. And, just do the best you can.
That's awesome.
So
dude, he just seems like as much as they're like a powerhouse and they're unbelievable at football, I feel like he genuinely like, I can't remember what I watched, but it was just about how he treats them behind the scenes. I know they have like the great facilities and stuff, and that's obviously a good reason to go there, but how he handles like individual players where he's like, I want you guys to be good men when you come out of here.
Right.
Obviously any coach can say that. I feel like a lot of coaches do.
Right.
But like just seeing how like he'll do like the quirky shit. Like I follow Clemson football on like TikTok or something.
Yeah.
He's always making people dance and like do shit, like always lighting the mood. I don't know.
They do. They've made I feel like this fall they made like 2 or 3 music videos, like just doing wild stuff.
Oh my God. I watched the Laugh Now Cry Later video probably 50 times. It is so funny. Dude.
And yeah, I think they just try and have fun with it. And they work, harder than anyone. It's crazy. I couldn't imagine, the responsibilities they have, just especially in college. But I think that's part of the great thing. They all hold each other responsible for what happens. And I think it's great when they lose, which is, has happened. Like Dabo's just like, it's all good. We'll learn from it. Whereas other coaches are like, that sucks, blah, 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 blaming other people.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we'll get back to it Tuesday and, worry about next week.
Yeah. That's
which is what everyone should do just in life. Bad stuff happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, get back on the horse.
Yeah.
And, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. Especially just like you said, relating it back to life, because you're going to lose. It's like, all right, there's like 2 ways to look at failure or a loss. You can either be like, oh, this sucks. Like, or you can be like, all right, I'm going to learn from this. I'm not letting this happen again.
Yeah.
Fool me once, whatever. All right, let's go back to
it.
Right.
And that's like, I guess it's tough. Everyone looks like they have a perfect life on Instagram and everything, but you're bound to lose a lot of bad shit happens. It just, some people know how to handle it better.
Yeah.
Or learn how to handle it.
Oh,
I think you learn how to handle it. You don't know how to, handle it.
Well, like we said earlier, it's like you don't want to let, even doesn't matter what stage you're on, you don't want to let other people's kind of like negative opinions impact you. Obviously, it's important to keep some positive things around. Like you're not going to be this like alienated nobody, but like you see the stuff I do, like the casual Friday stuff where it's like, I'm just trying to do something that's like reminding people like, hey, this is a social media platform. Like this isn't your life. Like, it's,
Exactly.
you can put whatever you want on here and people are going to like think whatever. So,
right. Exactly. Yeah. And I guess it's one of those things like just not worrying what other people think as much. Like you got your boys and your family, and like obviously you want them to support you and respect you, but then beyond that, like, I'm going to do me, and if you don't like it, like
there's a door.
Didn't need you anyway, right?
Awesome. Yeah. So so obviously said you're living with some of your boys down there in Florida. Like, what's the camaraderie been like through COVID? Like, what have you guys been up to? Just obviously training probably for golf is probably nuts now, especially with all the technology and stuff.
Yeah. So it was great. Like down here, I play and practice at TVC Sawgrass down here in like Ponte Vedra Beach.
That's how you met Rob. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, never closed during quarantine, during the whole COVID thing. Like my trainer has a gym up there too, and that never closed either. So dude, I was working out, 5-6 days a week with him. And then I didn't touch a club for a while. I was just kind of hanging. Like we'd go on bike rides, go to the beach, like just kind of hang out.
Absolutely.
And then once, we started like second week of June maybe. So, a month and a half out that, like started to get serious with golf. But dude, it's crazy. Like I can't really speak to at least the shutdowns and everything that the rest of the country has experienced here in Jacksonville specifically, because it really never got that bad.
Yeah.
Which seems like, in my eyes, like I'm really thankful for that, because I kind of I think everyone, should be safe, but should be able to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah. It's like, all right, if you're afraid of it, like there's measures to stay away from it.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not informed enough to really speak on it either, but
no.
What are some of your favorite, like, I guess, training, like new things that you can do now, like training wise, that you weren't able to do before? And I guess that can be a question along the lines of like things you maybe saw in college, or now that you're a pro, things that you're able to do that you weren't before. Like,
yeah, I guess it's nice now. Like with training, like especially physically, I got my own trainer, and it's just more one-on-one. Whereas college is like very team, and you don't get that, time just with any sport, honestly. Like, but I like maybe not that much different. I feel like I've just been kind of collecting knowledge through the years on what I think like works for me best, and like what works for my body best, and things like that. And, lucky enough now to where I can, if I need to, I can spend money to, just go seek an opinion or try something new. Yeah,
that's cool. And that's an almost perfect segue to my next question. You ever like experiment like changing up your clubs or anything? Obviously, I know golf's kind of superstitious and obviously a touch sport. You mess around with your clubs much at all, or not really?
Not too much with like my irons and wedges, and besides just kind of new clubs. But like, with woods, it's kind of an ever changing, like, if your swing changes a little, then the club might not be the best for you. I think a lot of people don't really realize, like, you can get pretty specific with club fitting, especially like drivers and stuff like that. And just if weighting or anything like that is off, it's just not necessarily perfect, which is kind of what we're striving for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I kind of, it's like constantly working on those, to be honest with you, and making sure they're, where you want it to be.
Yeah, I've obviously had the same pair. Like, actually, I've had two sets. It's my grandpa's clubs and my dad's clubs. So I've not too much custom fit there, but that's cool, because I've always just been curious about like the science behind things. Because playing hockey and lacrosse, I tamper with shit all the time. So.
Yeah, and I think that's like, you're kind of seeing it with like Bryson a lot more now. He's kind of set a precedent with that. But like you said, you're tampering stuff with it. Like, you're just always trying to find if you can get like, 1% better. Like that's what we're always trying to do, right? Is, man, if I do this, like you always got like, your gamer is what we call it, or what works, but then you're kind of testing little tweaks to see if it makes it any better.
Yeah, I completely get that. So I guess a few more questions before we wrap up. So going back to people you've met, is there anybody that you've wanted to meet, or someone that you've like always wanted to meet that if you got the chance, like sweepstakes, who would it be?
Dude. No, I don't know I don't know.
All right. That's a tough one.
What about you? Let me see an example.
Like, honestly, you kind of lived it. I just want to go to like hang out with like Tyler Sagan, or like, honestly, like even like the Barstool crew. As weird as that sounds, I feel like they make fun out of anything. Like they all do stuff like this, but then like when they get their heads together, it's just mayhem. Yeah. Like
I met the Foreplay Pod guys a few weeks back. Like all those, they're great guys. It would be awesome, I think, to like just go see like a pizza review from El Prez, or I love their like whenever they do football picks. I think those are hilarious. I don't know how they're so funny. I couldn't do that, but those guys are great.
Dude, I almost like watch their stuff and like watch it like it's a film study. I'm like,
honestly, like, and somehow they just like shoot the shit to perfection and are great.
I think that's how they do it. It's so candid that you put the right people together and that shit happens. Like, I swear, it's just like you can get the right people down, hanging out wherever. And
I think that happens anytime you get your friends together, but half the time it's like, man, if anyone was looking in on this, they'd think it's the dumbest thing ever, but somehow it works with them, right? You're with your boys, like shooting the shit, and you're like, man, this is, you can't have more fun. But if someone came in and watched it, they'd be like, what are these guys talking about? You know?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever seen the goalie challenges with McAvoy did one, actually?
I don't think I have, no.
All right, that's your homework after this.
Okay.
It's El Prez wearing like street hockey gear, and he gets NHL guys to shoot on him. 10 shots. Yeah.
Oh man.
And he's just chirping the shit out of McAvoy the entire time.
I can't imagine that goes very well for him, but
weird. I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, I'll watch.
There's a few of them. They're good. I like them a lot. Well, man, any I guess advice to the normal people out there, college uncles? It's like the reality of your 20s. Anything for that type of demographic out there? Any like last words, or I guess maybe some inspirational talk?
No, I mean, I think it's just like, I feel like just as far as like careers go, I mean, I think you're living it right now. Like, I think some people are just like afraid to kind of like really put everything into it, and like you have to do some shit on the weekends or at nights, or, like, I think just at some point, like if you really want something, you got to sacrifice some fun or even like, I see a lot of people, I kind of relate it, and it's true. Like my job, in season, like I work on the weekends. I see people like, going out for spring break, 4th of July, like all that. Like, and I can't do that, and it sucks. But like, even I know a bunch of people in finance who like work till 2 a.m. in New York when that was a thing. Like, you got to figure out what you want, and it's different for everyone. Like, it's different from him and you and whatever, but like, don't be afraid to, do everything you can and never look back and never have any regrets.
Absolutely. So I hate to say this, but you're a Clemson boy. It's all
I know.
It's all in.
What?
You gotta go all in.
Yeah, you do have to go on. As cheesy as that is, you gotta go all in, right?
I was waiting for you to say it. Oh my God.
No, right. I wouldn't get like that.
Yeah, no worries. Well, dude, thank you again for your time, obviously. Like, this was great catching up with you. Been a lot longer than we thought.
Yeah, man.
But, yeah, dude, seriously, can't thank you enough.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely, man. And best of luck with everything you're up to. And
thanks, you too.
Yeah, hey, you're looking at it.
What was up with that Barstool stuff? I saw your thing.
Dude, someone got me good.
Oh, they did get you?
Dude, all right, so it was a phone call.
I thought they didn't.
I was at Clemson when I got it.
Really? Okay.
So I was like, all right, Thursday night at Clemson. You can imagine what my head's already doing.
Right.
I get this call. It's like so you know how you can get like a no caller ID? And there's no caller ID and there's unknown. Unknown is *67. No caller ID is like a business.
Okay.
Because like, so I answer the phone and she's like, "Hey, is this Eric from College Uncles?" And I was like, "Yeah, haha, really funny." Like, 'cause
Right.
I'm like, dude, there's no way anybody's seeing this shit.
Right.
And I go, I mean, yeah, it is. Who's this? And they're like, it's Destiny Skipper from Barstool Sports. She's like, is this a good time? I'm like, it's like 8:30 at night. I'm like, I mean, it's kind of a weird time to be calling, but yeah, sure, of course. Like, how are you? Like, and because I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm like, all right.
Right. You got to tread lightly.
So this is happening, and I hear Barstool Sports, and I'm like, because that's like ideally, obviously, even if like Barstool will be sick, but like I can do this for as long as I can, but I need to like have some type of like something along with it.
Right.
This is good practice. My like obviously ambitious dream is to have this get picked up by somebody somewhere sometime.
Right.
Obviously, those guys are my number one pick just because they're down.
Yeah.
But I bring my buddies outside. I'm like put it on speaker. I was like, hey, could you say who this was again? Sorry. And then she goes through the whole thing again. And she's like, yeah, like I just wanted to learn more about like your vision, your premise, and like what you wanted to do with it in the future. Like, and I was like, these are like really weird questions for a prank call.
Right.
And then I was like, yeah, like she says, yeah, like I would hopefully like to get you on a conversation next week with me and some of my higher ups. And I was like, what department are you in? She goes, yeah, talent and acquisition. I was like, I like went that night, literally at the bar. I was on LinkedIn and like Zoom info trying to find like Destiny Skipper. Like someone's fucking getting me. Like,
yeah.
And then I ended up finding, I don't know how. So I went on like this crazy LinkedIn hunt. I found this lady. Her name was Kelly Martin. And so I found her on Twitter because I couldn't find her on LinkedIn. She's head of talent relations and communications at Barstool.
Yeah.
Sent her a DM, was basically like, hey, like, hope this reaches you well. I think I had someone in the Barstool department reach out to me. I'm not sure. It could have easily been a prank. Like, I literally kept it as candid as I could.
Right.
And she got back to me and was like, hey, can you let me know who reached out? And I said the name, and she just never replied. So I don't think it was true.
Yeah, that's probably the end of that, huh?
Yeah. So
damn.
It's all good. I mean, it almost makes me want to work a little bit harder. Like, with this whole thing, just because, like, my head's like, I look forward to, like, I'm a dreamer. So like when the second that got in my ear, I was like, this is it. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
This actually gives me another random idea I forgot to bring up. All right. So like I said, creative, like dreamer head, you know, like the REDMAN, like the tobacco thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking if I ever got good enough at like graphic design to make one where it was like a golf themed one of like the REDMAN bag, but instead of like the chief, it's your head with the mustache and the fucking like flat brim hat. And then like some logo on the front, and it's like
that would be awesome.
Just REDMAN.
That would be awesome.
Do I have the green light to go about that?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. I'll get
that. Would be sweet,
dude. Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of. All right, cool. I'll definitely get on that then.
Yeah, dude.
All right, man. Well, hey, if I'm ever in Florida visiting Robbie Boy, I'll give you a call.
Hit me up.
Sounds good, man. Have a good one. Thank you.
You too. See you.
Peace.